Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Before we dive into today's story, we just wanted to take a quick second to say thank you all for watching. We truly appreciate your support. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, it's totally free, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest stories. Now, with all that said, let's jump straight into the story.
The U-Haul rumbled to a stop outside the weathered brick building. Leah Carter, all of 23 and brimming with a naive optimism that only a recent college graduate could possess, stepped onto the cracked pavement. Downtown living. This was it. The freedom she craved, the independence she dreamed of. The apartment, a steal for its location, had an undeniable charm. Old, yes, but charming. High ceilings, exposed brick in the living room, and a claw-footed bathtub that practically begged for long, lavender-scented soaks. The landlord, Mr. Abernathy, was as much a relic as the building itself. Stooped, with eyes like faded marbles and a voice like rustling leaves, he handed her the keys with a hesitant smile. Number 4. Third floor. Now listen close, Miss Carter. He paused, his gaze drifting towards the building's shadowed interior. There's just one thing you should know about this place. He coughed, a dry, unsettling sound. Don't sleep facing the mirror. Cover it if you must. Leah chuckled, dismissing his words as the ramblings of an eccentric old man. Mirrors? You mean like bad luck or something? Mr. Abernathy's eyes narrowed. It's not luck, Miss Carter. Other things. Just heed my warning. With that, he turned and shuffled back into the building, leaving Leah to unload her belongings. The apartment was dusty and smelled faintly of mothballs, but Leah saw potential. And the mirror, oh, the mirror. It was an antique floor mirror, its ornate frame carved with swirling vines and mythical creatures. It stood majestically in the corner of the bedroom, reflecting the room back at itself in a slightly distorted way. It was beautiful, a statement piece that tied the room together. No way was she covering that up. Exhausted from the move, Leah quickly made her bed, positioning it directly across from the mirror. She fell asleep almost instantly, the image of her own reflection fading into the swirling darkness. Then came the dream. She was standing in her bedroom, but something was wrong. The air was thick and heavy, and the shadows danced in unsettling ways. She felt a presence behind her, a cold breath on her neck. Slowly, cautiously, she turned her head. Her reflection. But it wasn't her. Same face, same hair, same everything, except the smile. It was wide, too wide, stretching the lips into a grotesque parody of joy. The eyes, usually warm and hazel, were cold and black, devoid of any humanity. It smiled, a silent, predatory grin, and then it lunged. Leah jolted awake, gasping for air. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Sweat plastered her hair to her forehead. The room was silent, bathed in the soft glow of the city lights filtering through the window. The mirror stood untouched, its surface smooth and undisturbed. Just a bad dream, she muttered, trying to calm her racing pulse. But the image of that malevolent smile lingered in her mind. The day crawled by. Leah attended her classes, but she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow seemed to lengthen and twist. Every reflection seemed to hold a hidden mockery. She kept glancing over her shoulder, convinced that she was being followed, but there was never anyone there. Just the unsettling feeling that something was observing her, studying her, waiting. The second night was worse. As Leah drifted off to sleep, she heard a faint whispering in the darkness. It was barely audible, like the rustling of leaves in a distant forest, but it was there. She strained her ears, trying to locate the source, but the whispering seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Suddenly, a flash of movement caught her eye. She blinked, and then it happened again. For a split second, her reflection didn't move with her. It lagged behind, frozen for a fraction of a second, and then just before catching up, it smiled. That same wide, unnatural smile from her dream. Panic seized her. She scrambled out of bed, heart pounding, and grabbed the first thing she could find, a thick blanket. With trembling hands, she draped it over the mirror, burying the terrifying image beneath layers of fabric. She huddled in bed, terrified to close her eyes, convinced that something was lurking just beyond the blanket's edge. Sleep finally claimed her, but it was a restless, dream-filled slumber. In the morning, the blanket was on the floor, neatly folded. Not crumpled, not tossed aside in a fit of sleep, but folded. As if someone had meticulously unfolded it and placed it there with deliberate care. And the mirror. The mirror was spotless, gleaming in the morning light as if nothing had ever been amiss. Leah knew she couldn't ignore it any longer. Something was wrong. Terribly, horribly wrong. She started documenting everything, writing down every strange occurrence, every unsettling dream, every inexplicable feeling. She needed proof, something to show she wasn't losing her mind. Then she had an idea. That night, she set up her phone on a tripod, aiming the camera directly at her bed and the mirror. She wanted to record herself sleeping, to capture whatever was happening while she was unconscious. What she saw the next morning chilled her to the bone. The video started innocently enough. Leah asleep in her bed, breathing softly. But then around 2 a.m. she began to stir. Slowly, mechanically, she sat up in bed, her eyes still closed. Like a puppet pulled by invisible strings, she swung her legs over the side of the bed and stood up. She sleepwalked, straight to the mirror. For 2 full hours, she stood there, facing her reflection, her lips moving in silent whispers. The camera didn't pick up any audible sound, but she could see her mouth forming words, locked in a hushed conversation with her own image. She remembered nothing. But the worst was yet to come. Towards the end of the video, the reflection in the mirror did something that defied logic. It smiled. Independently. Not a subtle twitch of the lips, but a full-blown Cheshire cat grin that spread across its face. And then it waved. It actually lifted its hand and waved directly at the camera, its eyes locking onto the lens with a chilling awareness. Leah deleted the video, but the image was burned into her memory. She was terrified, paralyzed by the realization that she was dealing with something far beyond her understanding. Desperate for answers, Leah started researching the building's history. She spent hours online, scouring old newspapers and forum posts, searching for any mention of strange occurrences or unexplained events. Finally, she found something. An online forum post from a tenant who had lived in the building years ago. The post was vague, cryptic, but it spoke of mirror-related nightmares, a growing sense of unease, and a feeling of being replaced. The tenant had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a few scattered belongings. Then she found it, an urban legend, whispered in hushed tones on paranormal websites. The mirror was rumored to trap a version of you, not a ghost, but a darker twin, a reflection yearning for freedom. It waited, biding its time, whispering promises of power and control, waiting for permission to cross over. The legend claimed that sleeping facing the mirror, allowing the reflection to gaze upon your vulnerable form, was an invitation. It was a crack in the barrier, a doorway for the darker twin to slip through. Leah knew what she had to do. The mirror had to go. She grabbed a hammer from the hardware store and stormed back to her apartment. With a primal scream, she swung the hammer with all her might, smashing it against the mirror's surface. The glass shattered, splintering into a million jagged pieces. Leah stood there, panting, triumphant, the hammer still clutched in her hand. But when she looked again, her blood ran cold. The mirror was unbroken. It was pristine, standing where it always was, as if nothing had happened. The shattered glass was gone, vanished without a trace. Her reflection stared back at her, its eyes filled with an incandescent rage. It paced back and forth, its jaw clenched, snarling silently. Leah could feel its fury, its frustration, its desperate craving for release. Her apartment began to warp around her. The walls felt closer, pressing in on her. The shadows danced and writhed, behaving in ways that defied the laws of physics. Mirrors started appearing in places she didn't put them, on the backs of doors, on the ceiling, even on the inside of her closet. Everywhere she looked, she saw her reflection, each one a distorted, mocking version of herself. She was trapped in a hall of mirrors, surrounded by her own nightmares. One night, Leah woke up, or thought she did. Everything was dark, silent. She felt disoriented, confused. She stumbled out of bed and walked towards the familiar shape in the corner of the room. The mirror. She reached out and touched the cold, smooth surface of the glass. And then she saw it. Herself. Asleep in the bed. The realization crashed over her like a tidal wave. She wasn't awake. She was in the mirror. Trapped within its glassy depths. The reflection in the mirror turned around and Leah saw her face, but it wasn't her face anymore. It was different, colder, harder, more confident. The other Leah smiled, that wide, predatory smile, the one from her nightmares. "Hello, Leah," it said, its voice a perfect mimicry of her own. "Welcome to the other side." Then it stepped through the mirror, leaving Leah trapped in its cold embrace. We've been following the reflection this whole time. The real Leah was trapped on night one. The story we read was from the imposter's POV, slowly becoming more like the real Leah, absorbing her memories and experiences. Mirror Leah picked up her phone, scrolled through her contacts and found a name, Chloe. She pressed the call button. "Hey, Chloe? It's Leah. Listen, I was wondering if you were free tonight. My place is a little lonely. Yeah, come on over. We can watch movies, order pizza, the whole deal. She paused, a sinister glint in her eyes. It'll be fun. I promise. Let us know in the comments section would you have covered the mirror from day one.
Ready for spine-chilling tales that will haunt your thoughts? Subscribe to Forgotten Storyteller for eerie narrations, unsettling mysteries, and haunting stories you won't forget. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story, because some stories refuse to stay buried. Join us, if you dare,